All right, let's test the audio and make sure that it works, and then we can get going again with the live stream. Let's see if I can hear myself first. All right, let's test the audio. Okay, so I'll just throw the link around and then we can start. Just a moment. There we go. Normal tech majors. Okay, so let's start with the regular ones first. I'll go through the ones that we had on poll. Actually, let's just go through these ones here first. Let's go with the stocks first. Start with NVIDIA. We did not create a higher high here. However, this kind of looks impulsive, this move here. We have divergence at the very highs, which can be easily labeled into 5. However, this also looked like a 5-way as well. So I'm not quite sure what this is, because if this was a 5-wave, I don't think it has anything to do with any kind of previous structure. It can't really be a end of something unless it is an end of this. At that point, again, this would be just a 3, like so, and this would be another 3. However, as it is expanded flat, or it would be an expanded flat, it would be not part of a diagonal at all. So at that point, we would have this as a 3, 3, and potentially a 3 like so, where this is still in the development phase, right? And I'm not quite sure how that fits. The only way that fits is that this, again, as this can't be a diagonal here, or a start of this diagonal, where this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because again you can't really have expanded flats here on diagonals. You would have this as a 3 of some sort, a 3 wave up and then 5 waves down, where this wave 4 would actually be later on. So how this would be fitting into the higher time frame would be kind of nice as well. But again, this would be requiring us to take a dump again later on. Comparing that to this wave 4 here, or wave 2, sorry, this is significantly larger at that point. We can see it in comparison in time. So that's why I kind of still like the idea that this wave 4 is already done. But at this point, I'm not quite sure how I would be fitting this. At the moment, I would not be really trading NVIDIA at this point. So skipping that for now. Netflix. Netflix had a very okay-ish looking 3-way structure here. Had very impulsive looking pump up in here, but again, same as other like indices and such, we've had this 3-way pump at least for now, where we have reached some of these more ABC targets such as 1-to-1 to 1.236. So again, the pump up higher is very corrective so far, at least. Some indices, we'll take a look at those later on, are showing already larger dumps to the downside, while Netflix is kind of still holding this structure here so far, at least. But yeah, this would fit into that same idea where if this indeed is 3, if this is 3, well, what do we have? We are expecting something like this. As the first structure here is a 3-way structure, we're not really expecting a dump. Why is that a 3-way? Because it can't be a 1-2, 1-2, because we have already taken out the highs here. Of course, it can be a bit different depending on an asset, but here we can clearly see that it has taken out the top. So we can't have that 1-2, 1-2 to the downside. So that is clear at this point. While this can create a structure like this, we could be looking for some kind of still larger continuation to the upside later on, where if this indeed is a 3-way structure, that is part of this previous move, where this is again that 3 wave. I'm not sure if this is large enough in time to be even part of it as a solo structure, meaning that we would need to create another 3 waves, another 3 waves before it fits into the time aspect as well. And then, and only then, it has the chance of going up. Again, look at these times here. This would be early 2024. So again, we would have a somewhat of a bear market still here to go through. And yeah, this is something that is very something that is something to at least consider. The time is very important in my opinion. Yeah, what up, Zigzag? What else? Meta. Let's take a look at Meta. I don't think this is very good of a chart. It's not really giving us good structures. We have still the same structure here in 3 waves. Not really too fan of it. Otherwise, this structure coming down is not that easy. Casper, is that like a stock or something? It's, okay, I don't know. I have not looked at that chart at all. But yeah, Meta, I'm just going to be skipping this even though it has massive potential for a short, because again, we are at this very much of larger consolidation and area where we have a lot of resistance. I just don't see the good looking structure here where I want to be going short. So yeah, maybe we have this as a 5. Maybe this is a 3-way that is the 1-2 and then we get 3, 4, 5 like so. But I just don't see the structure, so I can't really play that, unfortunately. And then Tesla, very similar to the other ones where this is easily labeled in 3. This came up in 3 though, which is again very similar to the idea that we had previously. Let's see, do I still have that shorts here? Yeah, I do. Yeah, so where again we had this as a 3-wave going up, we had the divergences forming here and hitting the bearish targets here. This is very similar to the other ones that we've gone through, where we came down in 3, went up in 3. Well, why is the expectation? Well, the continuation of this structure as it is not finished. If this indeed is 3, sure, this can be a structure where it creates another 3 and then continues up before it creates this larger pattern downwards. But for now, the dumps here look kind of decent for some kind of move later on downwards. But I kind of like the shorts now at this point overall on stocks and on the indices. Still riding on Tesla shorts. I could be probably setting my stop loss basically up in here. I think my entry is somewhere around the 1-to-1 extension here, and could be setting my stop here as this kind of looked impulsive to the downside. You could be creating something else here, but yeah, that would be the ideal setup where you would have this as well, a structure like this, or at least creating a structure like this. Apple was another one. That was the what we were talking about in the last live stream, where the structure started to come up. Apple was the only one that actually had a very decent looking forward move to the downside, and then having an ABC as the easiest structure going up. We extended a bit just beyond the golden pocket, just beyond the extension of 1.382 here. Almost got through this whole gap, not quite, but then we had a dump. We'll see if we can get a continuation to the upside here. Might throw another short here against the high, something of this sort, something like this to catch if we dump more. But again, this Apple is a bit more rare, as it had larger of a dump here, and actually the other stocks had their high here, so those other stocks did not create a proper 5-way move, and Apple was probably the only one, at least one of the only ones that did. So again, very interesting one, and still looking for looking for this whole thing to play out more. And yeah, that's that. Amazon, exactly what I was saying, 3 waves here. This, however, is a bit different. We had a 3-wave here that have taken out its low. So in this scenario, we would most likely have this as an ABC or some sort like this, where this is expanded flat and this whole thing is an expanded flat. So again, that fits a bit better. So like this, and you have divergence here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks very decent. But the extension wise, this is the case here. If we are looking at the extensions, we can see that they are still corrective. We don't hit the 1.618, nor did we have a really good looking 4 and 5. Of course, it is possible to have this as 4 and 5, sure. There is some divergence here, but again, the extensions are not there to make it more probable than this, in my opinion. So overall, what I'm expecting is a WXY here, where wave Y would be lower, something like this. Something that is comparable to this one here. So again, anywhere from 127 to 119 is that target area for me, for Amazon. If this indeed becomes a 3-way structure and we want to be mega bearish, we would say that, okay, this is a 3-way structure that is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Look for that diagonal, look for wave 2, and look for the dump, even to create a higher time frame ABC, or just to create a wave 1 of something very massive on daily time frame. Again, as you can see, the expectation is not really changed. It hasn't really shifted. If this was to become a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as a diagonal, this would be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, consolidation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be fitting it perfectly. But again, we don't know until this whole structure clears up, and we don't need to be thinking about the higher time frame as of yet. But that is the one of the scenarios that is the most bearish at the moment, at least. Just wanted to let you know that there is very much of a bearish outcome. However, there is more also bullish ones. If you can accept that this is a wave 1, which it can be, I guess, where you would have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of a ABC. I know it is harder to label it like that, but I guess it is possible. And if this is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but instead a 1, 2, 3, this would be the wave 4 still, 4 and 5, right? So that would be a 5-way move from the very lows here. That would be changing everything. So that would be wave A, either of this wave X or wave 1 of an impulse wave. That is way more bullish. But again, these areas are very key, what is happening. But on both scenarios, in my opinion, it's best to look for this drop. How it comes down, you can be assessing that later. And then play either the higher time frame of some kind of pump, or just maybe look for at least that 3-wave, and as a hedge, short that, because again, at that point you could be looking for that diagonal. If that is a diagonal, it should not take out the highs. If it is something more bullish, it should take out this high. Yeah, that's that. Mara, this kind of scenario, I kind of like this. It was very bullish here, came down into the golden pocket, and then maybe it's going to give us another run up higher. Maybe not. But it's just a one trade. Again, massive stop loss, 15.31 at the 0.5. where we basically now at again. But again, you just play by the, or you just calculate a position size, so it does not really matter. Just one trade among others. Microsoft, not really liking the structure, staying out of this for now at least. What else did we have? You ever use an indicator called NPP Trendoscope? It's pretty useful for divergence and overall trend. I use it with Confluence, with the traders. It's a main indicator for the vector liquidity zones. No, not really. I have just some market sessions and liquidity things. I don't really particularly use any of these, to be honest. Mostly these were just to test things out. I have my own moving averages. I don't really use that either. It was just something that I made, and yeah, it's just some important or some interesting Confluence like these peaks and these lows, but it's just not something too interesting. We had some other requests there. Palantir. Yeah, that was actually a request as well. So Palantir, there was a chance that this is a firewall move. Currently I'm not quite too happy with this, how this came down. It can be labeled in 5. If we go a bit higher time frame, let's see if there's divergence. No divergence at all. Here it is. There's divergence here on 30-minute time frame. If we can think this as a firewall move here, as a 1-2, let me label it for you. Something like this. Probably should be minute. You could be thinking this as at least an ABC. The question is whether this is going to be a wave B already here, as we had this very three-way structure like on all of these. That's the question. If that is done, then you could be actually looking for shorts here. We have met the minimum amount of retracement, 38.2. That allows me at least to take trades. We have hit the minimum amount of time as well, so that should be fine. At the moment, you could be looking for some kind of trade setups here. I would not really play this. It could be, if you want to be very small time frame playing, you would do this. If I was to play, I would probably do this. This is somewhat of a clear firewall move, very impulsive to the downside. So I'll probably actually mark this down for me as well to look at after the stream. Hopefully before the open. But if there is of course a chance that we just do something like this and we create a larger structure like this when this is going to be stopping out. So again, taking profits somewhere at like a 1-to-1 extension of this, somewhere around $13 or $14 would be probably ideal. Just the first TP, and then probably even making the liquidity grab here, and then providing the move to the upside. If that is the case, that way B is not in. But yeah, something like that. But yeah, there's definitely short opportunities now in the markets. Multiple different ones, different stocks at the moment. Either stocks or the indices. Let's go through the indices next, actually. So let's start with Dow. Yeah, Dow is coming up next, yeah. Dow is the only one I feel like that has the potential of having this as a firewall move. Other ones are not really that easy to recognize. This being 3-wave, fine, that is fine, whatever. It's not really good. The issue I have with this is the time it took to create. It is so small that, and also that you can't really correlate this whole thing with the other indices, which is why I don't really like this whole count. Is it possible? Yeah, it is, because again, we have given these potential 1-2, 1-2 setups here, where you could be having just 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, at least into here somewhere. So there are, of course, possibilities. I had my alert set here at 35.62. It never came there. I wanted to short this if it came up. It only took the liquidity up here, and now it looks like it is dumping again. So I missed my opportunity here because I was, well, I wouldn't say too greedy, but I guess I was greedy. But yeah, that was my attempt to go short that, but never came through. ES looks like it's dumping. This one I don't really like too much about how it's structured. You could be saying that again we have the very similar to the large stocks where we have this is coming down in 3 waves, either an ABC or some kind of WXY. Does not overall matter at all. ABC here as well. Let's get rid of some of these. We don't need those anymore. Probably don't need these channels either, whatever. So yeah, ABC, if that is the case, then this whole thing would be a WXY of its own. And the expectation would be at least taking out the low of wave W, but the main targets would be way lower. 1-to-1 here for 42.66. And that would be another 4%. Yeah, I've labeled this as the top for wave X, as you know from the previous live streams, and well, I can't remember when I started to create those videos about the possibility of creating just a 3-wave here. Probably around this area here, we could have had this as the wave ABC. I don't really like to say that we have an ABC like this. It just looks bad. WXYZ looks better here into the low, even though that is more rare of a pattern. I can still work with this as a WXY. Not the best looking, of course, based on the extensions and how sloping that last leg is, but I still like this whole thing at the moment. But yeah, anywhere from 42.66 to 40.92 is my target zone for here. And if this starts to dump through this 40.92, then maybe this is a 5-way move. Maybe it is. I just can't see it through the. I just can't see it from here. This structure does not provide me that. Nasdaq. Again, the idea that we would have 1-2 here. I was looking to correlate this with the Dow Jones, but here on Nasdaq it took out this high here, so we can't have a 1-2, 1-2. So this is less bearish. However, again, we can certainly come down lower. Also, this structure here, I'm not quite sure what this is. I would probably label it as some kind of ABC if I had to, and then I would probably label this as an ABC and then coming down again. This is the only one that is more bullish than the other ones, I feel like, or has the chance of being more bullish, where we would have a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. But if this indeed is what the other indices are saying, then we would be coming down way lower and way faster. Also, this being a wave 4, taking out the previous support, that lower degree wave 4 is not that common. Generally, we want to be holding those wave 4s as we are creating higher lows and higher highs with a trend continuation. However, we broke structure here. We did not, or at least have not yet, created new highs. So we are kind of in this break of structure area at the moment. So this area where we are just in this weird range until either we break this, confirm that, okay, we are now in a downtrend, or we take out this high and say that, okay, this was just an anomaly and we are continuing to the upside. Dow DAX. This was something that we talked about, where we had this ABC going up. Let's go to a bit smaller time frame. This was, I think, last week we talked about this. And yeah, pretty much pretty decent extension targets here hit, and we had the divergences here. I don't see why not taking that trade. And yeah, this is dumping as well with the as the US markets are as well. So DAX looking decent as well now. Ors 200 dumping a bit more than I expected. Originally I was wanting, let's clear some of this mess up here. Originally I was wanting this to become a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with all the divergences in place, but this looks kind of impulsive to the downside as well. So I'm not really liking this anymore. I kind of think that this is some kind of 3 to the downside, but I'm not sure how I would be labeling the middle structure. It is very extended if it is in some kind of 3 wave. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not looking to take this trade anymore that I was originally planning on, with this being coming down in 3. Just because how large this dump is. But you can see on Ors, everything is very, very dumping and pumping. So again, this is very decent asset to trade in my opinion. It provides very large swings in short amount of times where everything is kind of decent looking. Although again, there's some, like this looks more like a 3 and then this looks more like a 5 in my opinion. So creating a 3, 3, 5 without the retracement back to 90%. It's kind of odd. So maybe there's some other rule sets that you should be applying to this Ors 200 index. But yeah, at this moment, I feel like this might be something like this. The internal structure here is just bad, which is why I'm not going to be trading it. What else? Probably the crypto ones then. Next, let's go with Bitcoin first. Bitcoin has been acting kind of weird, not gonna lie. So, like the change of the month, we had this pump. This is the way I would label this whole thing, ABC up, and we missed the 1-to-1. This came down what looks like some kind of 5 wave. There is a chance that we created a wave 4 here as well, but RSI is not really liking that. I would have liked it to create one more higher high here on RSI. I'm not quite sure what this is, and now that it is taking quite a long time, I don't think anymore it is really likely that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like so, where this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. And as we did not even take out the low here, this low, I don't think that it is very good looking 5 wave either. So on Bitcoin, I would probably be just a bit hesitant and wait. Overall, I would think that we would have something like this, a 3, 3, and then if this indeed is a 5 here, either it ends here, like so, go up, or even create one more down before a continuation of 3 waves up, and then another 5 wave to create this as a 3 wave, to create this larger WXY. The targets are way lower there. If we are looking at, depending of course on exchange where this wick is going to go, but it can be ranging anywhere from like let's see, somewhere around 22k to almost 21k. Yeah, so yeah, that's the area of interest. We'll take a look at that later. If this starts to print 3-way structures, then you could be looking for short opportunities for sure to at least play this leg downwards. ETH is kind of similar. 5-way looks better here. I'm still not quite sure how I want to be labeling this. Maybe this is some kind of WXY here, like so. This came up and retraced way more than Bitcoin did. So there was an opportunity here to the 0.5, but I did not catch that at all. And yeah, I'm not in crypto trades at the moment, I don't think. This being 3, if this indeed was a 3, the issue here is again the extensions. Pretty much if we are pivoting it from here, which I think is the wave E of that triangle, if it is the same spot, oh actually it should be this one here, but they are pretty much on the same level. We don't even get to the 0.6 from it. So again, ETH kind of weird. Very typical for altcoins to dump here further. So again, I would not really put too much pressure on the extensions here. Of course, if you wanted to trade this part, it would have been very difficult to go short here, because again, at least for me, it did not hit anything. Low degrees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential, and if this continues to dump, then we missed the chance. Solana, I don't like the structure. I'm still staying out of this. There's nothing really that fits anything overall. So yeah, not really to my liking. ADA, similar case. Looks like the main large cryptos or altcoins are not really that good, to me at least, for trading. These could be something like 3 here, 3 here, and then we'd be looking for a 3 here. However, we're just creating this weird consolidation area that I don't know what this is about. XRP, yeah, I don't know. It has similar look as for the ETH, where this is 5, but again, this potentially is starting from here as a 3, and this could be a 3. So again, everything is in 3 waves on multiple, or basically all the altcoins. There's only a few that are something different. I think like what was it, SNX or STX, was it STX? Something like this, where you could have had this as some kind of wave, start of a wave structure up, or even this as the start of something, but this came up in 3 as well. So I don't know, maybe this is not the one that I was thinking about. I think there was something else. Tomo, no, I can't remember what it was. I think CTC Discord mentioned that, and we were talking about that as well. And the setups it had. Phantom. Probably, yeah, it's very, very very sideways. This whole range is going to be difficult to trade unless it creates easy 3-way structures like that. If we take out basically these support levels, such as these here, you could be looking for longs. Same here. If we swing failure this area, you could be looking for longs. Of course, you would need to set areas of interest for all these and alerts for them, so you can actually watch them while it happens. But I'm not really too interested in that. I want to see the proper structures with Elliott waves, and not just look for the liquidity zones. But if that is what you do, that is great if it works for you. What else did we have? Solana, Apple, Amazon, Nasdaq, Nvidia. We did all those. PayPal. This isn't doing anything. We had a dump. Okay, we came through that area that we talked about last week as well. Never got back to that area where we wanted to go for long. But yeah, this overall structure does not really look too good. After this whole dump here from the highs 310 to current price, 80% down still, and it has not really shown any kind of behavior that it wants to go up still. And I don't know how I want to be labeling this. This can be labeled in 5. So if this indeed is a wave A, Well, that looks very bad on higher time frame. Because again, we want this B wave to go as high as it can, so wave C has enough space to go downwards without PayPal going bankrupt, right? I hope that is not the case, because I feel like it is very used still as a service. I'm using it as well, so I'm not sure why fundamentally this would be happening, but chart wise, this is how it dies. This is how it dies. Yeah, I don't think there is anything else. Let me double check that. Yeah, I don't think there's much at the moment going on. So as a summary, I would much rather look for shorts at this point, at least on the indices and the stocks, than longs. But that's just me. I really like the look of more of these three-way structures going up as a shorting opportunity than anything else. But yeah, that's going to do it for this live stream. Hope you enjoyed and got something out of it. And yeah, thanks for participating in the chat as well. And yeah, see you next week again. Bye-bye.